We all know a guy that is way too jolly for how much of an absolute ass he is, and Rofellos is one of them. The Lanoir emissary for 2 green, a 2/1 elf druid, a legendary creature so it can go in your command zone, and it taps a green for each forest you control. It feels like not that much of an obnoxious line of text when you're a new player. Like, yeah, it makes sense. There should be some elf somewhere that taps to make mana equal to the number of forests you control. It feels like a very obvious design. So obvious, in fact, they put it back in like 1995 and fucked the game up. Actually, it's probably 97. He's very, very good. In essence, you play him on turn 2 with 2 forests in play, untap on turn 3, play another one of your 31 forests, and then you tap for 6 mana. 3 lands and 3 mana out of him. Play a 6-drop. Or maybe just a 5-drop if you're unlucky. Hell, if you've got a Chrome Mox or a Mox Amber, you're playing a 7-drop. And that is the entire game plan of the deck. Well, that's not true. That's not true. There's 2 other parts to this game plan. One is asking your opponent a question. A fundamental question of, do you have any removal, or am I going to get to have my cake and eat it? If you untap with Rofellos, you're often going into Magical Christmas Land. If you untap with him once and just cast a 5, 6, or 7-drop, and then the opponent untaps and does kill him, your 5, 6, or 7-drop is now putting you so far ahead the majority of the time. That's why you've got to be careful about what 5, 6, and 7 drops you play. The other part of the question, or the puzzle, if you will, is making sure they can't kill Rofellos. And to do that, you're playing pretty much every or most of the 1 mana protection spells. Tameo Safekeeping, Royal Treatment, Wild Shape, Blossoming Defense. In essence, you want to, if you really have the soul read, or you look at their commander and you think, fuck, they've definitely got removal, you wait to turn 3 to cast him, protect him, untap, play a 4th forest maybe, and tap for 8 mana, and you're off to the races. Christmas has come early, and it's came all over your face. More accurately, your opponent's face. It was a much better joke if I talked about Santa Claus ejaculating on your opponent's face. The other really, absolutely wild thing this deck is it's the best Mox Amber deck in the format. If you play Mox Amber on turn 2, and then cast Rofellos, and now you have a green energy from this. Energy? What the fuck? I just slipped into Pokemon world. You have a green mana from this. You can then have Blossoming Defense or Vengeance Guile or whatever up on turn 2 to pass back to your opponent. They cast a removal spell. You counter it with Hex Boost. And sometimes they just fucking scoop. They're like, fuck this. They should always check to see you've got something in hand, because you could just flood, right? And for that reason, on top of your flood, we're playing quite a low land count. 31, 32, 33 lands. Mainly because we just have Rofellos in the command zone and he's all the mana we need. But also we want to make sure that when we untap with Rofellos, we've drawn something of weight. And that's why, well, actually, we're playing a few more lands than that. There are some double-faced MDFCs. Where are we? Not this one. We've got Turn Timber Symbiosis and the big fucking elf. Where is she? This one. I fucking love this card. Summon of Rofellos is so good. Anyway, I think big fucking elf. She doesn't look big in her art, but she's 6 mana, so she feels like a thick bitch. We're playing like an absolutely absurd number of top end because our ramp is absolutely consistent being in the command zone. Now, there is an interesting one of if they kill it twice, Rofellos costs 6 mana, and with only 35 lands, getting to 30, that number is quite hard if we're not playing other dorks and Arcane Signet and similar. But I think that's just the price you pay or the risk you run to make your deck a little bit more efficient. Of course, if Rofellos goes to 4 mana and you just naturally have land drops, and you can play a 5-drop and then play a 6-drop, you can play a game where you're being fair and then drop Rofellos when the resources are low. Similar. Yeah, that's basically the deck. It's mono green, big fucking stuff. It's big, it's dumb, it is fun. It's not full of calm. As we said, we've already expelled that into the Aether. And by Aether, we mean our opponent's general vicinity. I don't know why I'm keeping to this. You should not ejaculate on your opponents. This is a public service announcement. I repeat, do not do this. But then again, I'm not a medical professional, so you do you. But if I'm honest, you do need to get it out of your system, if you excuse the pun, considering the last sentence I just said. Because I don't know if this is really a fun deck to play on the ladder for other people. It's very much in the upper end of the power level of the format. I do think it does fold to multiple removal spells, but by the end of this game, I'm going to give you a fucking spoiler here. I'm 95% with this over 20-ish games. It's kind of absurd. You need to play into actual piles of removal, which is more the top tier, sort of mid-range decks. One of the prominent issues with this might be that we don't have a lot of the pointed cards in our deck, nor Rofellos. And by pointed, I mean weighted. There's a weighting to every card on the client, and they add those numbers up to try and match people up according to all their deck lists. We are, of course, playing Paradox Engine and Chrome Mox and Mox Amber and the One Ring and Palantir, and a few very good green cards doing next week, Agents and similar. Maybe those cards have some weighting that pushes us up a little bit, but I'm assuming that Rofellos is just weighted very low. And I can't remember, I haven't looked at the weightings or the theorized weightings, but I'm assuming that forests are a 0, and a lot of the utility lands and fixing lands might have some weighting. So when our deck is predominantly, and by predominantly I mean 31% basic forests, that probably pulls our average weighted number significantly down. And thus, we sit in the lower tiers and we get to just absolutely steamroll people who want to not have to have removal on turns 2, 3, and 4. And if they don't, they just fucking die. They get Ugin. It's pretty gross. I'll put a link to the Mox field in the description below. I don't really recommend playing this deck all that much. I think Rofellos arguably maybe is too good for the format, but they don't seem to manage Brawl anyway. They seem to just not give a shit. So it's probably not going to get banned, but I do think that this will be a hell queue deck once they fix the weightings. If you want to buy any single or sealed product inspired by my fucking ramblings or what you see on screen right now, you can go to coolstuffinc.com, use the code Kenobi, check out it 5% of your order and help support the show. And in the old world, in Europe, where we still all own a trumpet, you can use the code PK-Tingle. That's right, Tingle, like my dick, at magicmadhouse.co.uk to get 5% off of non-sale and non-pre-order items. All of this goes to support the show, but if you want to support me directly, the best way to do it is to subscribe to this new channel. And this is the new channel, by the way. If you thought you were on the main channel, you're not. This is PK Plays, where I play with myself. But also, you can sub to this. That helps to support. Leave comments and all that sort of stuff. And also, Patreon, links in the description below if you want to give me $2 a month to join my Discord server and get called a fuck on there. If you want to hear me break down the Anthologies and Rofellos and Similar just generally and the state of Arena, I'm going to do a more talking head video about that on the other channel today as well. There'll be a link to that in the description, the cards and the end screens. So don't go over there right now. Perhaps watch this one, then go watch that, or queue them up, add it to your watch later. I don't know. Watch both videos though. It helps to massage my very massive ego. With that out of the way, let's play some rather obnoxious magic. You thought I was going to say penis, didn't you? But I didn't. Ha! I'm so unpredictable, like a wily coyote, swinging its dick in the breeze. Our first match is into Nihiri, Heir of the Ancients. Can she kill creatures? To damage the target creature opponent equal to twice the number of warriors and equipment you control. She can kill Rofellos. We have 2 lands, we have a protection spell for Rofellos, and we have things to ramp into. We're going to keep this. Not the ideal ramping. Vivian's one of the lower end ones, more of a utility piece. This requires something in play, and this is 8 mana, so we can't play it on turn 3. So not the best hand, but I think one of the beauties of Rofellos is that you can just keep most hands. Rabbit Battery hits us for 1. Is Rabbit Battery a warrior? It is not, but it is an equipment. I'll pass it back to them after playing a forest. A halberd of some description, to 2/2, with Mirrodin. So but essentially, we are going to do the question. We're going to play Rofellos and ask them if they have a removal spell. If they do, the game is not over, because we can play Aftermath Analyst and look to ramp that way. And then Vivian, and then later again Rofellos. So having Rofellos killed the first time round isn't the end of the world, but it is a big hindrance. He is a kill on sight, though. If they don't kill him, we get to untap and make 6 mana, which is Vivian, Monster Advocate, and a protection spell for him for the following turn, and then the game just gets away from them, right? They play a warrior. Whenever this creature attacks, target creature defending player controls with power less than it can't block. Sure. So we take a lot of damage here. We play a forest. So this is 6 mana. If you play up Aura Grazer for 1, put another land to play, that's 7 mana. Here's a Grazer that can block. Grazer's quite good in this deck. We should be playing the other one as well. Oh, it's tapped though, isn't it? This is still fine. We still get to keep up our royal treatment. We play Vivian. We can talk our libraries, and this one shakes the world's pretty good. We're gonna make a 3/3 beast. It's gonna have, I guess, vigilance. They're gonna make it unable to block and probably kill the Vivian, but it stems some of the bleeding and keeps us with a 3/3. Sandworm Convergence might be a problem for them. They do have 1 flyer now. They're missing land drops too, so they're not casting their commander to shoot our commander anytime soon. They're gonna reconfigure the hair onto here to make it a 3/3 first strike and trampler. Go to combat the attack. They make this unable to block, I assume. Can they target this? Less than or equal to. They choose the 3/3, which makes sense. We could royal treatment here, make it into a 4/4 and block, but we still get to say Vivian regardless. So I don't think we bother. We keep this for protecting Rofellos. And, you know, keeping Vivian on a high enough loyalty is pretty decent. Yeah, we're gonna give it protection, give it a royal ward token, block the 3/3, block the 3/1, kill one of their bodies. Vivian we're on tap with. We've got Primal Bounty on top. We have 8 mana. They scoop it up. Weirdly, Vivian wasn't doing much, and we were actually like on a slightly weaker play because we're playing Sandworm Convergence. But when I say weaker, I mean a spell that says most of their creatures will never attack again, and we make a 5/5 every turn. So weak is relative. I completely and utterly appreciate that. We are into Windgrace, Soul of Windgrace. Gains 3 life, draw a card, gains indestructible. Does not kill our commander, which is nice. So if they don't have removal in hand, they can't kill it. Now, we have Ancient Tomb, which doesn't play Rofellos, but it does play the command attacks, and we have a Chromox. So we go Forest, Chromox, play Corsair, but Rofellos then only taps for 1, but then we got 2, 3, 4, 5. We keep this. We can play Biogenic Ooze. So we put Corsair under the Chromox. We can play the One Ring, right? Here's a Forest, here's a Chromox, put the Corsair under it, and they scoop it up. The turn 1 Rofellos is not something our opponent wants to play into. Yeah, people aren't keen about this. He's pretty good. He's pretty good. So we're now up against Abuelo Ancestral Echo, which we beat earlier off camera. Not this player though, not huge butt hurt. This at the moment I think I'm 15 wins and 2 losses with Rofellos, because the commander's very, very good and people don't play enough early removal. I'm not saying that's the fix. Like having to remove him, then remove him again is kind of rough. I'm not saying that's necessarily like good for the format. I do think Brawl needs a bit more moderation in terms of what they allow in the command zone. Some bans might actually help it be a bit more of a fun place, but Hell Q is perhaps a help. We have 2 lands with Rofellos, protection spell for draw a 3rd land, add Swift Foot Boots. We're going to keep this. If we get the Soul Read and some removal, like a Skyclave Apparition or similar, we can always wait for that 3rd land. I'm going to pass back to them. We play Swift Foot Boots on turn 2, Rofellos on turn 3 if we hit that 3rd land. If we don't hit the 3rd land next turn, we may just be slamming Rofellos and asking them the question. They play a Wall of Omens and draw a card. We find Gilded Lotus. We didn't find that 3rd land. I'm going to ask them the question. Like, this only plays the Savala if we don't hit another land drop, but that's also fine. They play to 1 target artifact creature and put us 2 stun counters on it. That's pretty good. All right, so Rofellos is stunned for now. Do either of these untap it? No. Let's play Savala. So whenever another creature enters and it's the highest power, that player's controller, the creature's controller draws a card. I put him missed the land drop last turn. They play a Mind Stone, though that gets them back into the game in terms of making mana. Oh, and a land drop, but it's a tapped land. They're playing, I argue, inefficient lands. That's kind of one of the issues with Brawl, is that some people are playing the most efficient deck they can and other people are not, and then those people get queued. Especially if the rating for Rofellos is as low as some people think it might be. So Savala just taps for 2 right now. It just ain't enough, is it? It just ain't enough. We'll play Swift Foot Boots. We'll equip the Swift Foot Boots to Rofellos, so he's now protected. We won't be attacking, we'll pass back to them. That was a weak turn, if I'm honest. But next turn we untap with 6-7 mana. Disenchant the boots. Okay, that's gone. They also have a removal spell alongside that. That's pretty funny if they do. They did not play a forest. We now have 8-9 mana. Oh boy, that's pretty good. If we play this and make a 3-3, we actually have 10 mana, but we have to spend 5 ahead of time. So I guess we do that. We go 4-5, cast Vivian, make a 3-3 that will draw us a card, give it Vigilance. We draw the Immortal Sun, which is bad with all the Planeswalkers in our hand. I think I need to cut this card from the deck, if I'm honest. We'll make green, green, green. Cast Gilded Lotus, and we'll keep Gilded Lotus up to play Wild Shape or Tameo Safekeeping to protect Rofellos if they have a removal spell next turn. And we'll pass back to them. Pretty good turn. We could have been disruptive and like Vivian the Mind Stone. I might be doing that next turn, to be honest. Start off with Vocalist, so they're warping it in for a Panharmonicon style effect. They will not draw a card here because we share. We are tied for greatest power on the battlefield. They would have drawn 2 cards if they had made that 3-3. Pot and Gust. They're going to exile their wall, bring it back. They stack the triggers the correct way around, and then they'll get to draw 2 cards off the wall. Doesn't hit their land drop though, sadly. 2 cards off the wall, and then Starfield Vocalist goes back into the warp, as it were. Oh, it's a 1/5 tree. That's neat. I'm going to untap with so much mana, it's actually fucking gross. This is 5, 10, 11, 12 mana currently. I guess we just cast Ugin, which is pretty silly. We will exile. No, we won't. That's it. It's over. We cast Ugin. We probably, after we've ticked up to draw a card and gain 3 life, we cast the Immortal Sun as well to like exile this and this. I don't know what Planeswalkers off. Actually, I don't think I do that. I'll draw a card, which is this Turn to Symbiosis, and just cast that. look for a creature. Whoa, boy. That was, our opponent stumbled though. Like, it's not a good indication. Earlier on, the other Abuelo player, like, got a loop with Yorion Charming Prince on the go, but I had a Vorinclex in play, so they couldn't really cast anything. So it's like a loot that was keeping them in the game, but it wasn't winning them the game. This, they stumbled. They didn't have the removal spell, which is going to be the narrative for the whole video, right? Anyway, on to the next one. Well, we're going to Sephroth, the Fabled Soldier. We have 3 lands, an X spell, Malevolent Rumble, Gilded Lotus, and Ugin. We're going to keep this. We don't have a protection spell, but in my experience, the Sephroth decks are more just doing their own thing. They don't give a fuck what you're doing. The upside is, if Rofellos does die, we can Malevolent Rumble, make the 0/1, get us close to casting him again. They get in for 1, they play the Zulaport Cutthroat, which is one of the big engine cards of their deck. We're going to play our Commander, which is the big engine card of our deck. They're going to tap, play a land, and play Sephroth, the engine card of their deck, and then we're going to untap and cast an Ugin. That's the plan. They attack for 1, no blocks. No Sephroth before combat. We're going to see, are we going to eat a removal spell here? Nope, it is Sephroth. Sephroth! Okay, kill this, make a 1/1, drain us for 2, draw a card. Seems quite good. Has a reasonable turn 3. Unfortunately, our turn 3 is less than reasonable. Do I play this and kill Sephroth, or do I play this and make a body? Do I make 6 mana, play this, and then use 4 mana to play something else? Do I just play a 6/5? Then they have to kill Rofellos and this 6/5, because they're both very good. I think that might be the line. Oh god, I'm spoiled for fucking choices here. Yeah, we're gonna play O'Hare. O'Hare Kazlem. deepest growth. Not the most exciting or especially ETB, but like considering the board state, it asks our opponents to answer one of the two quite sizable threats. Ophiomancer gives them a 1/1 death touch, which will kill the O'Hare, but the O'Hare will trample over, deal damage to them, and then I get to look at cards and put them into play, right? Let's read this again to make sure. Reveal that many cards on top of your library. You may put a creature card and or a land card from among them onto the battlefield. Sweet. Okay, we're gonna play a forest. We're now on 8 mana, which isn't quite tooth and nail, but it is an explanation. Jesus Christ. We're gonna go Ugin. If they don't want O'Hare to connect, they're gonna have to put everything under it. We're gonna destroy Sephroth. This will trigger and ping us, right? Yeah. We'll go to combat and attack with O'Hare. They put a snake in front of it. We'll do 4 damage to them. We'll get a land and or a creature out of it. Our creatures are grossly big though, to be honest. We get pinged for 1, we get a tapped temple. It's not equal to damage dealt. We just get a Vorinclex. Absolutely absurd. Now, Gilded Lotus costs 2 less because of Ugin and we have 6 mana. That's 4 mana in pool. Gilded Lotus. We now have 5 mana. So that's 4/5. We don't want to do this yet. We're going to Malevolent Rumble. Put the puppet into our hand. We're going to put Ugin into our hand. Seems kind of absurd. And make a 0/1. Do I do this for 2? Okay, that's the end of our turn. They get a snake, another one, as the famous prophet once said. They get to go to combat and kill my poor Ugin. He is gone, sadly. We do just tooth and nail and get Crater Hoof Behemoth here. We don't play any of the Hornet Queen or like armies in a can that we probably should play alongside Crater Hoof for the definitive win off of like a top decked tooth and nail on 9 mana. Right, they draw some cards and ping us. That taps down their swamp. Oh my god. Nyx from Ancient makes Rofellos currently tap for 15. They're going to destroy my big Vorinclex and not Rofellos. Makes kind of sense. I'm not going to lie, that probably wasn't correct. Let's go to my turn. They get a 1/1. We play a forest. Cast this Nyx Bloom Ancient. 5, 6, 7. Oh, okay. They don't want us to produce 18 mana with Rofellos and 9 with the Gilded Lotus. I had fun. You'd have to ask my opponent, honestly, how they felt about that. They shouldn't have scooped them. My hand could have been garbage, right? They don't know my hand. Or they know Ugin. Maybe they don't think they can beat Ugin. That's kind of fair. Ugin is obnoxious. Are we the bad guys? Because, like, he looks very jolly. We're up against Grist the Hunger Tide, a new commander from this Anthologies, originally from Modern Horizons 2? 1? Oh god, they all blur into 1 at this point. But it's new from the set like ours is. We have 1 land, 2 protection spells. We're going to mulligan. 3 mulligan. 3 lands, Mox Amber, Chrome Mox. Oh my god. If we had a protection spell here, it would be our love in life. We're going to go Forest. We're going to go Chrome Mox for the Arboreal Grazer. We're going to go Mox Amber. We are actually a bit... Well, we're not actually that fucked if they have a removal spell, because we still have like 2 lands here to try and get towards Gargoroth. If they don't have a removal spell, we are casting Gargoroth. Actually, we're casting a 6-drop that we can draw as well. They got a tapped land to Surveil. They do not have a removal spell. We get to untap and at least play a Gargoroth on turn 2. Nyx Bloom Ancient. We are 1 mana short of Nyx Bloom Ancient. 2, 4, 5, 6. That's a shame. Here's a Gargoroth. When it attacks, it draws cards. When it blocks, it draws cards. Both of those things are pretty good. They got a Toxic whenever this creature does combat damage to a player, insect you control, an insect card in your graveyard hand, and library perpetually gain Toxic 1. That's quite neat. We're gonna play a Nyx Bloom Ancient. We're gonna go to combat and attack. We probably should have just drawn a card here before playing Nyx Bloom Ancient. Okay, they don't want to see any more. Like, they didn't even see what we drew. Like, we do have like a lot of power in play, but we don't have much left. I think you should at least test your opponent to see if they got. If you just drew nothing but forests for the next 4 draws, would have like infinite mana and nothing to do with it, and then you just need to have some form of interaction to kill like this and this and this to stop the inevitability. Like, there's an inevitability here. Like, there's an inevitability that we just win, but I didn't have the win there. I guess if their hand is bad, if the hand lines up bad, it's that they should scoop. I'm not trying to justify Rofellos, by the way. I think this guy is legitimately perhaps a problem. I guess ultimately on that point, I'll talk more about this in the other video on the other channel, but like, Brawl is a nonsense format where it's like Dual Commander. So maybe Rofellos does belong here against the decks that play like, you know, 30 removal spells and such. It's hard to say though, because obviously whilst it's weighted badly, it just ruins the fun for everyone else. All right, one more time with the Marina Vendrell. That is the Rooms /Enchantment /Enchantress commander. We're on 3 lands, protection spell, 5-drop, 7-drop with a Rofellos. This is gas. If we drew Mox Amber on our first turn, it might be the best hand you've ever seen. Actually, no, if we had a Chrome Mox hand right now, we drew Mox Amber. So we can go like Rofellos with a Mox Amber, back it up for a treatment, untap, play a 6-drop. That would be real good. I said 5-drop, sorry, with Cavalier Thorns. It's not 6 mana. I always think they're 6 mana, but 2+3 is not 6. We're going to crack their Foliage Strand. We're going to see a Utopia Sprawl from our opponent. That's one of the 1 mana ramp spells that the Marina Vendrell like Enchantress deck might play, because they want effects that are triggered by enchantments entering the battlefield or number of enchantments they have. They did not. We are going to ask the question. Now, To be honest, with the third land in hand, there's a chance that there's a potential that we should have just waited. Like another turn to our hand. This is absolutely fine. This is like the best case scenario. Back to hand. Good stuff. They play a tap land. They play a fetch land, probably getting a Surveil land here, I'd imagine, or another Triome to fix their 5-color mana base. We're going to untap, play Rofellos, keep up Royal Treatment. On the following turn, just start making big plays, as they say. As any person in finance will tell you, you got to make big plays, right? You got to invest in Pokemon TCG. You got to buy up the collector boosters of Avatar and stick them online for a huge markup. Banishing Light, well, unfortunately, you got to give him the Royal Treatment. He's got Hexproof now. And he's a 3/2. Oh no! We have 8 mana. What do we want to do with it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What does the other side of this do? It's a coastal piracy style effect. We want to keep up Heroic Intervention. So 4, 5, 6. That would keep it up. So we're going to go Cavalier of Thorns. Keep up Heroic Intervention. Hit Nykthos. Fucking hell. Fucking hell. What's going on? It's for 5. So we're going to go Nissa, Who Shakes the World. And now we have Heroic Intervention up, and they have seen enough. Okay. Do we need to show any more? This is a very short video. All right, we'll do one more. Okay, well, get Ashnod Flesh Mechanist. This is mono black. It's mono black, sack things, make power stones. But it's mono black, so they should have some form of removal, right? Whenever it's attack, sack a creature. If you do make a power stone, make 3 3. Okay. We have 3 lands, Rofellos, and no protection. This hand is somewhat weak. A Shire is a fun and synergetic piece for making your creatures also forests to get to big mana. We might just go turn 3 a Shire, turn 4 Tooth and Nail for the win. So for that reason, I'm going to keep it. Are we playing around removal in the mono black deck? Here's Ashnod on turn 1. No, I don't think so. I think we're just going to run out Rofellos. If I draw a Hexproof card, I will pause for a turn. If I don't draw it, I will not. Dusk Legion Zealot draws them a card, loses them a life. They then play with Ashnod to make a Power Stone. They be ramping. So they aren't holding up mana to kill Rofellos on our turns. So if they do kill him, they do spend a turn tapping some of their mana, maybe even all of their mana to kill him. Cabal Stronghold. They don't have many basic swamps there because they've got a Phyrexian Tower too. They're thinking, so Novice Occultist. Are they wondering whether I would trade my commander for theirs? Because I absolutely fucking wouldn't. Like, not in a million years. You can have another Power Stone, I give a fuck. You draw a card, lose a life. We go to 23. On my turn, if we draw an insane 6-drop, we did not. So we go Forest, and then just a Shire? Yeah. There we go. This thing will be a 5/5. Rofellos and a Shire are both forests now. Next turn, we're going to untap, and we're going to have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 mana, which is Tooth and Nail, like Crater Hoof and something else, which might just be lethal. She has Death Touch, so we won't be blocking. They play 9 lives from it. I don't know what this does. This creature ends with 8 revival counters on it if you cast it. When this creature dies, if it had a revival count on it, it returns to the battlefield with 1 or fewer revival counts on it. Yes, I remember this from Foundations previews. So no blocks. Being event step, bring back the cat. We untap. Okay, here's a forest. We could go 6 mana, make this an 8/8, draw 8 cards, but I think Tooth and Nailing might just be the play. We're going to go with both sides, please. And they scuba up to an entwined Tooth and Nail on turn 4. Okay, that's enough. I've got my fill. I've got it out of my system. That was Rofellos. Do I think he's a problem after playing? I think I played 20 matches and lost 2. So we're on a, what's that? We're on a 95% win rate. Having lost to Kefka and a black-white Planeswalker Sorin, the 6 mana one, or the 4 mana one that can shoot Rofellos. Because they went turn 2, kill him. I thought about playing on turn 4, but they had Sorin in play, so I couldn't. And Kefka just killed him, and then got value. So in the mid-rangey piles of removal spells, Rofellos is bad. Maybe it just means that in like the Hell queue upper tiers, as he gets like shifted up in terms of weighting, people just have to play more removal. You got to kill him on turn 2, and you got to then kill him again on turn 4, or turn 3 if they're ramping. You got to remember the Rofellos decks shouldn't be playing that much ramp, because then you might just do that thing that some of the green decks do, where you only draw ramp. It's like ramp and ramp. But you also need to ramp to be able to play Rofellos like a 3rd time on 6 mana. So you can't ignore ramping. I'm playing like Delighted Halfling and Cultivating similar. So there is that small tension, but it's I use the word tension. It's like someone stretched out a towel, a beach towel with like each hand, right? You're holding out the corners. It's not exactly under tension. It's just like pulled out. You had to put the minimal amount of effort in. That's probably a more accurate description of the Rofellos build. Yeah, card's absurd. There's a reason it's banned in Commander. Yeah, very, very strong. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to see me talk about more about the Anthologies in general and the State of Arena, check out the main video on the main channel, which will be linked in the end cards now. And if not, don't forget to subscribe. Or if you do, subscribe. Either way, fucking subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one. Ta-ta for now.